And then Alfonso, I'm just going to mute you real quick, and then when we open up Q&A, man, we'll be good to go there.
Cool.
All right. Okay, guys. So welcome back to another live call here in the Online Fitness Coaches Personal Mentorship Program. So today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Josh Phelan. So really quick, I could go on for an hour to give this man an introduction, but I just want to keep it short and sweet. So Josh is an entrepreneur, life coach. He's an author. And most importantly, he was our former life coach. So this was about maybe 4 years ago. I want to say it's been that long, which is crazy. It seems like it was yesterday, Josh, but Josh played a pivotal role in our life at the right moment. You know, when we moved over to Southern California, we were very close-minded to a life coach at first, but once we let Josh in, and man, this guy just really changed our world, our mindset, our hearts. So like I said, I can go on and on with a bunch of gratitude, but Josh, you know, how you doing, man? Thank you, Josh.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Excited to be here. Big idea, essentially, like always, is whenever I have a chance to speak and essentially reach out to other people, the idea is I just want to be able to give and provide value and just kind of, you know, help the people that were here with us on this call today.
Love it, absolutely. And Eric forgot to mention that you're a husband and a father, and you're expecting another baby boy. So congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I knew I forgot something. Josh, so what we want to do, man, is talk about mainly like mindset as an entrepreneur, and just how to create more clarity as an entrepreneur too, because going into this entrepreneur, which we call a roller coaster, there's a lot of series of ups and downs. And, you know, there is, you know, a dark time and period in entrepreneurs, and that a lot of people don't want to talk about. You know, a lot of people want to talk about the wins and the sunshines and the rainbows, but that's just not the reality of what entrepreneurism is. So let's talk about just kind of mindset and just kind of like how to gain more clarity as an entrepreneur. Is there anything you want to kind of just start off like with those topics?
Yeah. I mean, mindset is huge, obviously. It's something that you not only have to work on, but it's something that you have to, on an ongoing basis, to consistently work at. You know, it's not something where it's like, okay, well, once I get there, I got it, you know, I'm good, I'm set. It's like, no, every single day you have to work on that, you know. And it's something that there's a lot of moving parts to it as well too. It's not necessarily one thing that's going to help protect it 100%, where you're going to be like, all right, that's it. As long as I do this one thing, I'm going to be set. It's like, no, chances are, like, okay, here's a good example. People get into funks, right? We all do it. And it's just like, you're in this funk, you don't feel motivated, you feel like crap, you don't have this belief in yourself, you're lacking in confidence, you don't take as much action, you drag your feet, whatever, you know? So you get into this funk, you know? And so a big part of that is being able to get out of that. And that goes back to mindset. And this is something, there's so many things that can throw you off. You know, it could be something super near and dear to you. You know, you lose a loved one, or it could just be you have a pissed off client, or a prospect fell through and you don't land the deal. There's a plethora of things that could happen to just kind of jack you up and not make you feel on top of the world, essentially. And there's three pieces, really. It's state, story, and strategy. You know, if we're talking like bigger picture, life change, you know, mindset being part of that. The first piece is creating a beautiful state, you know, and there's 3 hacks to kind of get there. Hot, cold, and music, essentially. Those are like the overall, without getting into like drugs and psychedelics or something, you know, those are what's going to really help you, and will work fast. So what I mean by hot, cold, or music is, you know, a lot of times we have music that helps us to get in a better mood. We'll sing in the shower, sing in the car, whatever. And it'll just be something that lifts your spirits, whether you sing or not, that's irrelevant. But music, we can all agree, like there's stuff that moves us, you know,
right.
There's something about it. The other part is hot. You know, this could be a hot shower, a sauna. This could be a good run, a good workout. But usually after that, when it's a good one especially, that's going to change your state of mind, you know, going back to the mindset. And then the third component, and, you know, this isn't something where you have to do all 3. It's just these are 3 different ways that are like the staples for changing, getting into a better state. And the third one is cold. So whether it's a cold shower, personally, I love to jump into the ocean. I'm like 10 minutes. from the beach. So that's super convenient. Or like this past weekend, my wife and I, we were in Big Sur for the long weekend. And so I went into the ice cold river. It's like 50 degrees, but like afterwards, you just can't help but smile. You're in a better state of mind. Yeah, it's not something that we're all going to be able to afford to do. Essentially, people in Kansas are going to be like, great, Josh, I don't have a freaking ocean. I can't do that. But hey, you know what? You do have access to a shower probably, and you can start there. And that's going to be able to help you very, very quickly to be able to change your state of mind and get into a better state of mind. So state of mind, that's the first thing. And because without it, if you're in a crappy state, you're less likely to take better action, essentially, and if you're not taking action, you're not really going to have a better life, a better business or anything. So it doesn't matter how good of a state of mind you're in if you don't actually take any action, right? So the second part is story. And that's the story that we tell ourselves. Is it disempowering or is it empowering? Are we building ourselves up or are we tearing ourselves down? A lot of times we would not even repeat to somebody else what it is that we say to ourselves on a daily basis. It's like that mean. It's like, wait, why are you trying to tear yourself down? You're the only person you're going to have for the rest of your life, like talking to yourself. You can do great things. You're capable of extraordinary things. I believe that in my core. And then the final piece is the strategy, so if you have a beautiful state, you feel positive, you feel optimistic, you feel happy, whatever. You have a great story that you're telling yourself. It's empowering. You really believe, you're capable of doing great things, but then your strategy is to sit on your butt and eat nachos on your couch and wait for luck or opportunity or whatever you want to call it to come knocking on your door. Well, you're probably going to get fat because that's not a very good strategy to help start changing your life. So that's the third and final piece, kind of wrapping it back into mindset. But it's got to be, the state of mind's got to be good. And like I said, there's 3 ways to get to that: hot, cold music, then story, telling yourself an empowering story. And a good kind of exercise for this is even just writing out, I've had some of my clients do this, is writing out 100 wins. It sounds kind of ridiculous, sounds a little over the top, but you should be surprised how you'll get there. It could be just simple little things, graduating from high school, getting my driver's license, starting my first business, whatever, it could just be these little moments that you've had throughout your life. But write those things out, and it's going to start to really help you realize, like, oh wow, like I've done a lot, I've achieved quite a bit. I am capable of these things, to help kind of rewrite that story. Right. That last piece is just going to be the strategy and the implementation of it.
Yeah, no, love those, Josh. Way to kick that off. And then I want to talk more about too, like just like the importance of a morning routine, right? Because I remember too, when we first came to you, I had no clue what the hell that was. And I was like, a morning routine, this and that. But then it's like, once you really emphasize that and just, really broke down, the whole state of mind aspect of that and being in control, of your energy, of your thoughts, everything, first thing in the morning, I really bought into that. So now I advocate that to all my clients going forward. So would you say that a morning routine is definitely like a form of, the state, the strategy, and then the story?
Yeah, definitely. Because let's put it this way. If you stub your toe in the morning, that's a good example. I feel like we can all relate to that. You don't have the lights off. You're just trying to wake up, go to the bathroom real quick, and you stub your toe, you hit something, and then you're just pissed. And it hurts, it sucks. It's the first thing in the morning, you just woke up, you're groggy, and now you're angry. And then you realize a lot of times what will happen is you actually start having a really crappy day, and you kind of point it back to, oh man, I stubbed my toe, and then this happened, then I forgot my keys, and then I locked myself out, and you have all these things, and it's like, well, here's what actually happened. You have reticulator activating system. I think I kind of screwed up how to say that properly. But essentially there's a component in your brain where it'll constantly help you to seek out what you're looking for. So if you are in the market for a new Tesla, let's say, like chances are you're going to keep on seeing them. It's not that there's more or less Teslas. It's just the fact that now you're programming yourself to look for that. So same thing with the morning routine. If you stub your toe, if you start off just jumping out of bed and just racing, slug that cup of coffee, head out the door, or if you just haphazardly are just trying to, brush your teeth, get dressed and get going, chances are you're not going to be looking for the positive. You're not going to be looking for a way to get into a beautiful state. You're not going to be looking for ways to reach your goals, So big part of mine thing is looking, okay, what are my overarching goals, the big ones? And then also, what are my top 3 priorities for the day? I'm constantly journaling. And my wife will tell you, if I don't journal, I don't sleep. There'll be times like she has literally had to kick me out of the bed, and she's like, you're not sleeping, I'm not sleeping, get out, like go write, and I'll dump 9 pages out of my head onto paper. And that really helps me. But anyway, the idea though is to set yourself up in such a way that you're going to be looking for the life that you're trying to build and create for yourself or your business, But if you're constantly looking at the negative side of things, being pessimistic, worrying, constantly we're barraged with all sorts of social media information, news and everything. A lot of it is negative, or it's putting somebody else down, and it's in no way, shape or form really helping you, to develop a life and business that you love and that you can be proud of and that you want for yourself. And so we a lot of times are reactively responding to this world instead of proactively reaching out towards our goals and our dreams and the vision that we have for ourselves, and to kind of go back to the first part when you asked about clarity, I think that is huge. And I've actually, honest truth, I've had clients get pissed at me because I've been so on their ass about no, we are not moving forward until we get clear on this. You don't understand how important this is, because I don't want you to end up like other entrepreneurs that I know that, 5, 10 plus years down the road, they're pissed and upset because they never took the time to really create that vision for the life. I think it's funny where people think that, life is almost like a menu. So it's like, okay, I want this, and here are the sides that come with it, and that's my option for drinks, and that's kind of it, It's like, no, bull crap. It's a freaking all-you-can-eat buffet. You can pick and choose, and you can have as much of whatever it is that you want. And I strongly believe that, as silly as it sounds. But I think that that's so important to get really clear on, even just the little things, because ultimately each day compounded over time equals a life. So if you keep on having a bunch of crappy days over and over again, you're not going to have a really great life to be proud of,
Yeah.
So if you can make each day as best as you can, that's going to ultimately lead you to a better life, So getting clear on what time you want to wake up, what time do you want to go to bed? What do you want to be doing for your work? Who are you serving? How are you helping? How are you providing value to this world? In what way are these people having real problems, and what's your solution for that, and just getting very particular about those things. Even I really think we do have a lot more control than we give ourselves the credit for, in our lives, to be able to create those things. But yeah, going back to your clarity piece, I think it is so important, and I've literally sent people just these really tough questions, and just have them journal on it, being like, look, we can discuss this if you want to, or you can keep this on your own. Be happy to talk with you through this, and just kind of see some of the answers that you came up with, and how to be able to move forward from there. But I think it's super important to be able to get clarity on, not only the bigger picture, where you want to be 5 years from now and such, but also what do you want that day to day to look like for yourself, and get crystal clear with that. Like I said, you do have control over that. I strongly believe that.
Yeah, no, that's huge. And before, I think Chris was going to say something, but I just want to add a quick point to that about just, the clarity aspect. And to me, it's the same thing as just being focused, right? How do we stay really focused every single day, not to get distracted by all the shiny objects, all the external wisdom thrown our way. And more importantly, I read this in a book recently. It's called Seeking Wisdom, really good stuff. And they talked about the importance of just not only thinking clearly and staying focused, but thinking rationally, right?
Yeah.
We often don't really sit there and think rationally through certain problems or things, like you said, goals. So I think that's huge too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he actually stole my thought process of the shiny objects thing. So I was going to ask you, man, is there any kind of practical applications or exercises that our students can do? Because I know how hard that shit is, avoiding those shiny objects and kind of getting, unfocused and kind of pulled in different directions.
Yeah. Here's one thing that I've noticed to work really well for me personally, and this is what I've also advised some other people to do as well. So essentially, I have a bunch of folders and ideas and stuff in here, as well as on my computer. So whenever it is that I come up with them, and once again, my wife can tell you I'm notorious for that, and I'll be like, "Oh, I just thought it's a really good business idea, and this would be the marketing, this is what it'd be for. I could see this being a good gift, or good game," like all over the place. Like you would just laugh if I told you like the amount of like business ideas I've come up with. And so the way for me to kind of keep pull the reins in essentially to help me stay focused, to be able to like do what I should be doing and work on and stuff, is I give myself a little leeway. Meaning, I know the big things in my life that are going to move the needle most, so I threw out the whole long laundry to-do list. Like I'll still get stuff out of my head just so I don't forget it, but I don't have a list of 25 things I'm trying to do that day. I have a list of 3, maybe 4 things, and they're big. These are things that are going to move the needle the most. And so that's what I try to do and get all of those marked off. If I get all of those marked off and a couple days in a row or a full week, then I'm allowed to kind of go down the rabbit hole on Google or something and just kind of give myself free reign to kind of go and check out an idea, because I do think it is important to kind of get away from the day-to-day too, because if you're constantly always thinking programming, working out, marketing, whatever, and you're just constantly in this bubble of 3 to 5 things, like you're going to get stuck. And the creative process even shows and says, and they've done studies on this, where it's good to take a break. It's good to come back to it. It's good to think about other things and give yourself the chance to go down those rabbit holes. So I don't think that entrepreneurs should stay away completely, but I think it is important to kind of like not necessarily like start and do 25 different things at once. That's not what I'm saying, but give yourself permission to at least like go check it out. Give yourself a mental break. Put it in a folder. Like I literally have a computer I have a folder on my computer that says future business ideas, and it's literally just like itemized list of just different things that I have. And honestly, it's something where I kind of want to look and down the road, and it's like, cool, I'm going to throw 25 grand at this and just see what happens, but right now I'm like, yeah, I'm not at that point yet. I don't want to be losing 25 grand on a big maybe. So I think it's important for us to just, because I know it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. You're creative, you're excited, you're an action taker, you're a go-getter. I think if anything, give yourself permission to at least kind of digress from your normal day-to-day, but only after actually moving the needle on the bigger items.
Love it. All right, man. Well, shoot, I mean, this has been great as far as like the topic with like mindset and clarity. I love the whole, story, state, strategy. I love the 100 wins. That's a good, definitely like an exercise somebody can do. And then also too, what you said, just to get more clarity is just, give yourself some leeway after like a week or 2 after you accomplish like those things that are moving the needle, and maybe do like a 3 to 4 item to-do list instead of like 20, right? So I think those are all really good practical applications that all of our students can really take advantage of for mindset and clarity. So is there anything else you want to just add maybe on those topics before I open it up for Alfonso? You can ask some questions.
I think it's just super important for people to really journal. That's something where I think writing stuff down is going to help you create clarity in thinking, and it inspires action. If you've ever gone down the rabbit hole, as far as like sales and marketing, you're going to quickly realize where if a customer is fuzzy on their thinking, they don't clearly understand the features and benefits of a product or service, that is an unbuying customer. Okay. So we all kind of get that as entrepreneurs from a business standpoint. If I don't understand your product or service, I'm not going to buy it. Same thing can be said about our goals. So if you're not crystal clear on your vision, your future that you're trying to build and create, your business, your life, etc., if you're not clear on that, you're going to take a path to a clearer, lesser goal, essentially. So I think it's super important for people to just journal and write regularly. I honestly do. I mean, look at some of the best people in history, entrepreneurs, thought leaders and so forth. You know, a lot of times you'll find they all journaled. You know, it's no coincidence. I definitely think there's power in that, and because of that, I'm writing a journal currently, and it's literally like, it's called the 90-day goal crushing journal, and the idea is literally to try to get people to walk through that process. The same thing I do with my clients, get them to walk through that process with questions to help them discover, like, okay, this is what I need to be working on in order to move my life forward, you know. And the cool thing too, it's not something that's going to be just strictly for working out or just business or just personal. You know, they can use it for any area of their life, which I think is really cool and powerful.
Yeah, no, I agree. You got us into journaling, Josh. I remember that. So like, let's say if somebody's fresh into that, they've never done any type of journaling. What is like some baby steps to just get them into that, just to get them in more into like the open mind set for that?
Yeah. 2-minute rule. So I've also gone down the rabbit hole of helping people create habits. And that's a big one, because ultimately, you know, greatness isn't something that's an overnight success, obviously, or anything. It's not something that happens once in a while. It's not something that's once in a blue moon or anything. It's something that we do daily. You know, look at anybody that you admire in any field. It's not one thing that they did once that got them to that point where you're like, oh, wow, that was so cool of him or her or whatever. No, bullcrap. It was years and years compounded over time that took them to that level.
Yep.
So the same thing can be said about habits, you know, and doing things over and over and over again. So going back to your question, 2 minutes, that's the rule. If your goal is to run a marathon, your first goal shouldn't be to run 10 miles, not even a mile. Honestly, your goal should be tie your shoelaces, go outside. That can be done in 2 minutes. Same thing with the journaling. Open up the journal and grab your pen and write for 2 minutes. Set a timer, have it out. But the another big idea too, you know, for beginners, like you said, get rid of the obstacles. So if you wanted to practice guitar, you're not going to keep your guitar in public storage or something where you have to drive over and unlock it to get it. You're going to leave it out, right? So same can be said about the journaling. Leave it out in a nice, comfortable chair or desk or table, just wherever you want to be journaling, and make sure that you like it. You like the journal. If it's a crappy journal, you're not going to use it. You're not going to stick to it. Same thing could be said about the pen. Make sure it's a good pen. It's comfortable. You like it. You like the way it writes. As silly and as small details as these sound, they're actually super important to get you to actually stick to your habits.
All these little details.
Yeah. But yeah, a good journal that you like, a good pen that you like, a nice spot to sit down, but literally 2 minutes. Like, do not strive for, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes or whatever, you know, whatever your goal is, start with a 2-minute rule. I promise you that helps more than anything. And another thing too, try to, at most skip one day. Studies have shown when people are building new habits and stuff, when they skip one day, it literally has no effect on whether they stick to the habit or not. But if they skip 2 days or more, chances are they're a lot less likely to be able to get there. So one of the big things that I always do with my clients, as far as like life coaching and stuff, it's accountability. You know, like, yeah, we'll just do a call once a week, but I'm texting them every day, you know, keeping them up to date. Like, okay, hey, what's going on with this? How's this going? You know, just to make sure that they are literally being held accountable. It's not something that I'm trying to put onto them, but it's like, hey, you said you were going to journal, you know, in this instance, it's like, I'm just making sure that you're doing what you said. And if not, there are real consequences in place, you know?
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
Whew, love that. All right. So let's do some Q&A. Q&A. Let's do it. Shoot, I got it. Okay. Alfonso, the mic is yours. Any questions?
So sticking on that journaling piece. So I've made my attempts at it, but what do I write? I guess I've written like affirmations. I've done that. I've written kind of like what happened the day before, the night prior, that kind of thing. I guess it hasn't stuck with me. So I guess what do you advise that I write on in those 2 minutes?
Yeah. An easy one are like 3 gratitudes, 3 things you're thankful for, you know.
Okay.
What are you thankful for from the past 24 hours? You know, a moment, a gift that you received, you know, somebody said something nice to you, a good, you know, you closed a new deal or whatever. But gratitudes are a good place to start, because it also helps rewire your brain too. Now you're looking for things before, you know, instead of going going against that pessimism and that, fearfulness that a lot of times we're dealing with. So that's a good one. Another one is honestly just your goals, writing down and give yourself permission to like really just dream big on this, forget about even just, or I don't want to say forget about, but don't think just the small ones. Like, yeah, it'll be good to write down things for that day. If you want to, do a little brain dump, be like, okay, I got to remember to call this person. I got to interview with them, looking to hire, whatever. Those things be good, but also, write down and get specific too. Because the funny part too, with all the people I've worked with, I think it's interesting how when they were not specific with their goals, they ended up getting exactly what they asked for, so vague goals produce vague results. If you just say, I want more money, it's like, cool, I can give you a penny. Now you have more money.
Right.
What's that dollar amount? You want more time? How much more time? Like get specific with those things though. But yeah, the two easiest things I think are gratitudes and goals.
And specific time of day, morning, night, whatever
you like best. Personally,
whatever works best.
I love to journal in the morning, but I also a lot of times will journal in the evening. I don't always do both. I'd be lying if I said I did. But journaling in the morning is pretty much like I usually always do that, and then I also will typically do evenings as well. And that helps for me to sleep essentially.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh man. Any more questions, Alfonso?
Yeah.
Fire away at 'em.
What's that?
I said fire away at them.
Yeah. So just being stuck, like motivating yourself. How? I don't know. Because like using myself as an example, 21 plus years in one career, right? It's in the military.
Yeah.
Now transitioning to something which probably a lot of people think is probably crazy. Because I tell my story, especially to people that are just working 9-to-5 jobs, and I'm like, yeah, I have X amount of years at doing this job, but I'm not going to do that anymore at all. I'm going to go over here.
Yeah.
And obviously my head starts to get in the way. I start like psyching myself out.
Yeah.
So I guess what is the best approach to combat that,
Yeah.
Great question.
So there's essentially only two driving forces for motivation. We have pain and pleasure. Unfortunately, people will not do very much in order to acquire pleasure. We all know or have seen, at least in movies or magazines, people with six packs, great bodies, great families, supposedly, with the money, the cars, etc. But a lot of times people don't do much to get out of that, or get to that, I should say. So a lot of times that's why we have very few as a society that are at rock bottom. We have some that are there, but usually when you hit rock bottom, you tend to move. You tend to make a change, Right. So it's pain or pleasure, really. So with that being said, I think it's super important, going back to the clarity, getting crystal clear on what you want, the life that you want. And then after that, why? Why do you want it? And typically when you ask it once, you get a very surface level answer. So let's use losing weight as an easy example. If I ask somebody why they want to lose weight, they give me a bullshit answer like, I just want to get in shape. It's like, okay, why do you want to get in shape? Like, I have less weight and my knees won't hurt. Well, why don't you want your knees to hurt? And then that's when they might start getting to an emotional level answer where they're like, I want to be able to play with my kids again. And it's like, well, why do you want to play with your kids again? And then they start talking about their parents and how they were unable to play with them or something. So you're getting deep, and that's what I'm talking about when it comes to pain. It's literally a painful emotional answer response that they're saying, like, this is why. And so when you start to focus on that, that's going to be your real reason. It's typically not the surface level stuff of the house, the car, the six pack, like whatever. It's going to be much, much deeper than that. And that's what's going to drive you. The one guy, he was saying that he goes to a very dark place essentially. And he lost several people in his family. And long story short, each morning, his kind of motivational routine is that he imagines that he lost his family, and he literally tries to like really feel that. And then after that, he just kind of realizes like nothing else is going to touch me. Like I am untouchable for the day because I have those, and that's what I'm working towards to, enjoy these things. And, that's his driving force. So I think that that's a huge part. And if you're not writing it down, if you're not clear on it, if you can't tell somebody like this, what's your reason for doing what you do, it's going to be a lot harder because, you know, your motivation is going to come and go. And unfortunately, that's not going to lead you to success in any area of your life. You know, if you're doing it based off of when you feel like doing it, you're going to be SOL, you know.
Yeah.
You really have to get clear on that. And shoot, in the meantime, if you have to, even just doing like some YouTube videos to get you fired up, or, you know, creating that playlist that's going to help you. But once again, this can go back to the state story strategy idea as well. But yeah, I think it's important just to kind of write those things down, what you're trying to get clear on, and going from there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that, man. And it's getting close. Like I said, 45 days. So we're getting really close. You know, once right now I got the comfort of the checks are still coming in. It's all good.
Yeah. For sure.
You know, I'm gonna get a pension obviously when I retire, but it's not nearly what we make now on active duty. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So that was a good question. Yeah, good question, Alfonso.
Thank you.
All right.
I think that's it, gents. Yeah, nothing. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, Josh. So, I mean, any final thoughts? And then, like, where can we support you and you know, keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, lately I've just honestly been blowing up Facebook. This is something a mentor taught me, and this guy does over like 100K a month. And so he's like, dude, 75% of that is just use my personal Facebook page. And I'm talking about this, and I'm doing live videos, and I started doing it, and I got like 8 new clients from it, and I'm like, all right, this is working. let me keep doing this. So honestly, Facebook is where I'm most active. Outside of that, I mean, honestly, you guys are welcome to provide people with email or phone number of mine. I'll be happy to talk with anybody that I think I can honestly help. Like my dad just kind of always drilled in my head. He's like, you know what, it's about touching people right here, you know, and he'd always point to his heart. And so it's been cool to just kind of like, even just having conversations with people and realizing like how much I'm able to have an impact on them. I mean, one of the coolest things lately is last week, I had a client, literally no joke, surprise me with custom Nike Metcons, and it literally on the heel it says "Life Changer," and that's one of my Instagram handles.
Yeah.
But it was just so cool, and it just kind of got emotional, like just saying thank you for what I've done for him and stuff. I'm like, get the heck out of here, like that's awesome. So yeah, I think right now a lot of it's just like very personable relationships, personal conversations. Everybody's going to be in a different spot, so it's not like a blanket thing that I can just say, here, do this, and it's gonna fix all your problems. Like, no, bullcrap. Yeah, you know, everybody has a different story. Everybody's gonna be a different part in their life, different mindset, you know, different part in their business, etc. So yeah, you guys are welcome to point them to my personal Facebook page, along with even providing my phone number and email.
Sure, man. Like, what is the Facebook handle? It says facebook.com/Josh Phelan.
I think so.
Okay.
I'll
look up your guys' friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure out a way to link this up, man. Like in these little like sections or whatever when we do the replay video.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. All right, Josh. Well, dude, thanks so much for your time and your wisdom, your experience, everything. You know, like Eric and I said, you made a big impact on our lives, and I just see you just spreading it more and just changing more people's lives, impacting the world, making it a better place, man. So thank you so much. And Alfonso, thanks so much for being on the call. Appreciate you, man.
For sure.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good evening.
See you guys.
Bye.